Hey guys, it's Stacy, and today I have a video for you. Obviously, I thought since I was actually wearing makeup because I have to go to work, I would actually film. So today's video is going to be all the book series that I am not going to finish. So I've either read the first book in the series or the second book or whatever. I've read more than one book in the series or whatever. And I've probably DNF'd a book in the series. But if you like any of these series, no offense against you, these series just weren't for me. So there are a few like controversial ones on here, so let's get into it. So we're going to start off right off the bat with the most controversial, and that is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I read the first two books in this series a couple of years ago, and they were good enough while reading. They were entertaining. There was just a lot of angst, but after I finished them, I didn't remember anything, and the more I think about it, the more I hate them. Like, I just don't think there's anything really special about them. I don't think Selena's that really amazing of a character. Everybody says she's so badass and blah blah blah. I just thought she was really selfish and self-centered and didn't care about anybody but herself. So I know that's most people's favorite series, but I hated the series. I do not plan on continuing it, and I mean, if you like it, you like it. I understand the appeal, but like for me it just wasn't anything special. I know people say like the third book's the best or whatever, but I read the first two. Don't plan on finishing. The next one is also a controversial one, and that is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I read the first one and like it confused me, but I wanted to know more, so I bought the second book and I read maybe the first 10 pages of the second book, and I could not stand it. I didn't really understand what was happening. I didn't know why this was happening. There was really no explanation. And I don't really like Maggie Stiefvater anyway, so that series is just not for me. It's really confusing, and I mean, the writing style, it didn't really sit well with me. So for me, those just aren't my books. I just don't connect with anything in them. But I understand, like, they're really interesting, but for me they were too confusing, so I'm not going to finish it. Number 3 series is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. I read the first one and it took me forever to read. It was just very info dumping, and like I really understand why people like it because it had an interesting concept and I really enjoyed the concept, but the writing was so like dense when it didn't have to be dense, and it was just like so much info dumping and like a lot of just description. And I didn't like the romance in it. I thought it was weird. So, I mean, I read the first one and I gave it a really generous rating, which I shouldn't have. But then I read the first, like, 5 pages of Hollow City and decided I really don't like these books, and I will probably never read anything else Ransom Riggs write because I just don't like his writing style. The next series is the Etiquette and Espionage series by Gail Carriger. I read the first one way back when in 2014, 2015, and I bought the second book like right after, but I never read it, and I kind of grew out of it. It was very juvenile, but when I read it, it was fine for me because I was younger, but it was just very juvenile, and I didn't really remember anything that was happening, so I just unhauled those books because, you know, it was just taking room on my shelf that I could use for other books. I just grew out of that kind of book, but it was pretty interesting the first time I read it. It kept my attention while I was reading it, but as of right now, I just don't think that kind of book's for me anymore. The next series is the Nightshade series by Andrea Kramer. I know I said I was going to finish that series this year in a previous video, but I decided that I don't want to finish it. I just lost interest, kind of. I still really enjoy like werewolves and stuff. I read a lot of that on Wattpad, so I just decided to get rid of those, and I just don't plan on reading it. This next series I'm kind of iffy on finishing because I read the first book a long time ago and I loved it, and it is the Legend series by Marie Lu. I read that book in 7th grade, and that was so long ago, but I really enjoyed it because I borrowed it from my friend, and I read that book so fast. That was before I really got into reading heavily, because I was still like not sure about reading. I liked it, but I didn't really like it, and yeah. But that book was freaking phenomenal, and I remember I read it because my school won this thing where a bunch of authors came to our school and talked to us about writing books and how books like affected the world, and Marie Lu was there, and that was really cool. I didn't get to meet them because, you know, I'm me, but I didn't get to meet them, but it was really cool hearing them speak and hearing Marie Lu speak now that she's such a big author. So I might finish that one eventually, but if I do finish it, I'll probably just read the books on my Kindle because I don't know if I really want to own that series because I heard some mixed things about the last 2 books. The next series is the series of unfortunate events. I just come to realize I just don't really like the books. They were interesting enough, but they were creepy, and I don't like the TV show. So I'm just not going to finish those, and there's 13 books, and I don't want that stuff taking up space on my shelf. The next one is the Half Bad series. I fucking hate that book, okay? I give it 3 stars, but the more I think about it, the more I hate it, because it was so confusing, and it, like, jumped around, and apparently the last book is just, like, no, so I'm not going to finish it. Sorry, Lindsay, because I know she wants us to finish buddy reading it, but I'm not going to finish it. Maximum Ride series, it's too long. It's too long, and I don't really like the characters, and apparently the books just keep coming out, and, like, it's done. It's over with. The first book ended fine. Like, I don't like it. This is the Asylum series by Madeline Rocks, I think. I don't know. It's kind of like Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, but, like, the kids are older, and they're at this weird boarding school, and I might finish that one, but I will borrow it from my sister because I'm not spending money on that. The Brutal Darkness series by Rachel A. Marks, and the first book was it did not have its priorities right. It was more focused on, like, which girl do I love? And I didn't like it. Actually, a graphic novel series, and that is Saga by different people. Everybody knows what Saga is. I read the first one, and I don't really like graphic novels anyway. I have no interest in them. I just don't like graphic novels. They don't keep my attention. Like, the only graphic novel series I'll probably ever finish is the Lumberjane series because that one was so cute. The next series is the Ghost Girl series by Tonya Hurley. These books were weird. She died because she ate a gummy bear and choked on it. And she's just, like, tried to possess some girl's body so she grew up the boy, and it was just a little too weird for me. Like, I like weird, but that was just straight up odd. The next series is Whispers of the Fallen by J.D. Netto. This series is really popular, like, on Instagram and stuff, but I hated the first book. I thought it was going to be this very fantastical fantasy world with a lot of, like, morally gray characters and, like, villains, but it was very petty, and they whined so fucking much. Like, I didn't like it at all. I have no interest in reading anything else. No. Next series is the Eye of Mine series by James Dashner. I read the Maze Runner series, and I like it. I really liked the Maze Runner series, liked the movies more, but I read that, and then it ended off really weird, and then I just kind of forgot what happened, and I never bought any of the other books, and so I'm never gonna finish it because, like, have y'all seen my book hauls lately? I've got too many books to get to instead of wasting my time on stuff I don't like. Next series is the Sweet Evil series by Wendy Higgins. This was enjoyable enough. It was kind of like fan fiction, so it was easy to read, but I read the first book. The second book, I read more than one, I think, or I read at least half of that one, but I'm not gonna finish it. There's a third book, and then there's a whole nother book in the boys' point of view, and I only read this because my cousin really liked it, and I was just like, okay, we'll see, and then I didn't like it. It's about angels and demons and demon angels, and I don't know, I just didn't like it. And the next series is the I don't know how to say it, but it's by Holly Black. It's her Fae series. I've just come to realize I don't like Fae books that much, other than, like, Julie Kagawa's books, the Iron Fae series. That one's really good, but I've never read another Fae book that I actually liked. But I hated it. It was so bad, that book by Holly Black. I don't think Holly Black's for me either. I didn't like it. I hated it. The next series is the Splintered series by A.G. Howard. Now, when I read this, I loved it, but I waited too long before reading the third book because I used to only buy paperbacks. I would not buy a hardback, so I waited, and then it was like a year later, and I lost all interest, and I just asked my friend what happened, and she told me, and I didn't like what she told me, so I'm not going to read. The next one is the Zombie series by Darren Shan. That book confused me. Like, for most of the whole book, I thought the main character was a girl or a boy, but then her dad or his dad comes along, and then it's apparently like a boy or something. I don't know, but the whole book they have you thinking this main character is a different gender than it is, but then, I don't know, I mean, like, If it was like a genderqueer character, maybe, or like a gender fluid character, it would, but that wasn't the case. It was just like, I think they forgot halfway through while they were writing it, oh yeah, this is the gender of the character. It made no sense, and I'm never gonna finish it, and it's a long ass series. Next one is the Divergent series. I fucking hate that series. Okay, I read the first one. It was good enough to finish the series, and then I read the second one. I got halfway through it, and oh my god, I've never been so more annoyed by a book than I was with that book. And my sister's like, finish it, it's great. I'm like, I'm never gonna finish it, and nobody likes Allegiant, so I'm not gonna finish it. I hated Insurgent. Divergent was pretty good, but Insurgent is terrible, and it was just so bad. The next series is the Alice in Zombieland series by Gina Showalter, that's her name. And when I read it, I really enjoyed it, but I waited forever to read the second book, and then I didn't remember anything that was happening, so I'm not going to pick up any more of the books. I will read other works of Gina Showalter's. I think her adult books, I do have one of them. I do plan on reading because I did like her writing style, but not gonna finish Alice in Zombieland or the White Rabbit Chronicles or whatever it's called. We're almost done. The next series is the Gemma Doyle series by Libba Bray. I also hated those books. I read the first and second one, and I got maybe a fourth of the way through the third one, and I hated it. I hated the main character. I hated the side characters. I hated the pettiness. I didn't like the writing, and like that book kind of put me off from like historical fiction for a really long time, so I don't like it. I'm not gonna finish it. I don't think Libba Bray's books are for me anyway, because I did try to read The Diviners and I did not like it. The next series is The Giver by Lewis Lowry. When I first read the book in 8th grade, I really loved it, and it kind of sparked my interest in reading more, but then I tried to reread it as I got older, and I just didn't like it. It's one of my sister's favorite series, but I don't like it. The next series is The Daughters of the Moon by author I can't remember. I remember I bought these bind-ups because the books are really short, so they made bind-ups of all the books. And I really enjoyed most of them. And then I got to like the 6th one, and oh my god, it was so stupid. It made no sense. And so there's like 15 bajillion other books in it, and I'm not gonna finish it, so. The last series is the Angel Burn series by L.A. Weatherly, or the Angel series by her. I don't know, the first one was fucking fantastic. It was like, my mind was blown when I read it. I read it so fast. I cried, I laughed, I loved the romance, I loved the main character, I loved the love interest. It was just fantastic. But then, I read half of the second one, and it was so bad. Things were going in a direction they shouldn't have gone when she was like, she had an amazing boyfriend who loved her and supported her, and it was fantastic, but then she's having these visions of some other boy, so she takes her boyfriend on a mission to find him so she can like leave him for him, and it was so stupid. And I'm like, he gave up half of his life for you, like show him some respect. But it was terrible, and the characters were completely different, and I didn't like it. So this is the end of this video, because this video is 15 minutes long, like legit. So comment some series that you're never going to finish, or if you've read any of these and what you thought about them, and I will see you guys in another video.